Hello everybody, my name is Joy and welcome to the Deed Dynasty. Now if you thought that I was done framing and murdering relatives, then you'd be very, very wrong. Pilgrim Adventures. Ooh, what's that? Blood Will Have Blood, 1401, The Scarlet Lady, 1668. Oh, really? Okay then, well let's start with this little fellow here. Play the intro, please. Scottish Highlands, October 19th in the year 1382. How is she? There's nothing more that can be done for your mother, lad. It's a strange thing, almost like she's given up on fighting this sickness. It can't have been easy for her. Being abandoned by her new husband like that broke her heart. I don't expect she'll last the night. No, that can't be. Stifle those cries. You're a child no longer. It's time for you to become a man. It's no easy life, being an orphan. You need to pack up your things by morning. There'll be a wagon waiting in the courtyard. Can't I stay here? No, lad, this house will be reclaimed to pay the remainder of your stepfather's debts. Robert McKinnon, there'll be hell to pay if the usurers ever catch up with that man. Then where will I go? The monks of Bewley Priory have agreed to take you in. They'll treat you well enough so long as you earn your keep. Now go and say your farewells to your mother, lad. Thanks, good talk. Mother? Oh, sweet William, this is my fault. I should have known that man was a scoundrel and never should have married him. I couldn't stop him from squandering your fortune. I couldn't stop him from violating your father's memory. You must remember your father, William, your real father. You come from the proud and noble line of Bruce. Swear to me that you will always remember that. I swear it, Mother. There is one more thing you must promise. When you come of age, you must find the cowardly wastrel who destroyed your family. Find that husband of mine, find Robert McKinnon, and make him pay for everything that he did. I will do it, Mother. I promise. Yes, yes you will, you my brave, sweet William. Yes. Mother? Well, that's a tragic start. I was just about to get murderous and sneaky and all that, but no. Bewley Priory, Scotland, February 10th in the year 1401. I've found him, Mother, just as I said I would. 20 years. Has it really taken me so long? I hope you aren't disappointed. Robert Woolsey is the name he chooses to bear these days. He's living in England as a member of the King's Privy Council. Can you believe it? When I met him, he could barely scrape 2 shillings together. Now he is wealthy beyond reckoning, and governor of Isle of Wight. I wonder how many poor souls he had to destroy to obtain that position. No matter, his wealth and prestige will not protect him from my vengeance. From our vengeance, Mother. The men of his priory have been good to me, but the time has come for me to do as I promised. There is a heresy spreading in Britain. It has taken root here in Bewley, where even the prior himself is a follower. My sources tell me that Wolsey has taken a particular interest in rooting out this heresy. I wrote him a letter expressing my support. It was enough to secure an invitation to his family estate in the county of Yorkshire. Once there, I must find a way to bring about his end. I will be careful. I know that you would not want your only son to find himself on the headman's block. Someone else must pay that price. No amount of prayer could bring you back, Mother, but you will be avenged. I will make this selfish, unthrift pay for what he did to our family. Alright. So this is actually a better motivation than the previous guy we had. I mean, the other guy just wanted the house and the money. Wolsey House, Yorkshire, England. But this is a tale about revenge. Dusk is fast approaching. By the time you arrive at the Wolsey estate, a weary guardsman has ushered you through the outer gate and into the large courtyard beyond. The deed must be done tonight, after dinner. You should converse with the other guests and residents, learn their weaknesses, and locate some evidence to use against them. As you expected, the guards searched your person before you entered the estate. You must also find a fitting murder weapon while you are there. 2 items, so choose carefully. Dinner will commence once you have chosen your second item. Okay, so same rules as with the previous game. Okay, then I'm not sure if this is a sequel or just a successor of the other game. I'm not 100% sure. A horse is a vain thing for safety, so the Lord tells us. On the other hand, highwaymen pay little heed to scripture. You must be William Bruce, I suppose. The governor mentioned you would be coming. I am Simon of Brimsgrave. Myself and my travelling companion, Mother Burns, come here often to tutor the governor's daughter, though I suspect that tonight he has another reason altogether for inviting us here. I don't suppose you know anything about it. I wrote him a letter. I'm sure you know more than I do. I suspect it has something to do with heresy. How the hell should I know? Well, let's not be rude to this man, shall we? Let's start out by being friendly. Let's be honest. I feel it might have something to do with the spread of religious heresy in Britain. You think so? I suppose that would make sense. There are rumors that the king wishes to take stronger measures to fight the heretics, and the governor would certainly lead the charge. He has strong feelings about this heresy. As for myself, I think the matter is a great deal more complicated than the church admits. Usually are. I'm sure we can reach common ground. Complicating in what way? You sound like one of them. Let's ask. Complicated how exactly? Well, I don't agree with everything the followers of Wycliffe say, but they raise many important points. The matter of clerics occupying secular offices, for example. I have long taken issue with that practice. However, I have learned that it is not wise for me to speak on such things at length. This might open up the opportunity for me to frame someone for heresy, which could be a good thing. What would you like to discuss? Let's talk. Let's talk about Wolsey. Are you close with the governor? I would say so. We've shared many interesting discussions over the past few years. Perhaps I have even enlightened him on a few matters. I hope I have, anyway. Daughter? You mentioned that you tutor the governor's daughter. That's right. Eliza is quite a gifted child, although often interested in the wrong subjects. Sooner or later she will have to grow out of this fascination with swords and horses. It only gets her into trouble. Gifted child, unusual interest for a girl. What sort of trouble? What sort of trouble? That could actually come in handy. These interests of hers have gotten her into trouble? Yes, several times. The worst was when she challenged one of Sir John's young sons to a round of duelling with wooden swords. He laughed and refused, of course, and she became quite angry. Gave the boy a bloodied nose, as I recall. I'd never known her to have a temper like that. Anyway, perhaps you should meet her yourself. Mother Burns, tell me about your travelling companion, Mother Burns. Well, she's a woman of strong faith, that much is certainly true, and an extremely knowledgeable herbalist. Quite highly regarded in the church as well, although her reputation among postulants and novices is somewhat less positive. Why do they dislike her? What gives the postulants and novices cause to feel negatively towards her? Let's just say she tends towards having quite a stern hand when it comes to any sort of transgression from the younger nuns. There's a story I've heard about what she did to a particular nun who became pregnant and later died in childbirth. What did she do? She ordered that the dead woman be buried face down as a symbol of condemnation. When the child died a few days later, it was buried between the mother's legs in the same grave. I don't know if the story is true, and I'm not going to be the one to ask her about it. I probably shouldn't even be repeating it. That's all I can tell you about her anyway. Excuse me, just let me scooch this over. Yes, okay. See, there was more information to be found at the daughter, so I just want to see... Oh god, why is everything falling apart? Stay here, Lamp, I need you. No, okay, I can only ask one question. I won't keep you any longer. Go in peace. Very well, quite the introduction. But it's interesting, they got way more elements to it right now. It's way more of a story right now. You peer down into the damp darkness of the well. The dog seems to stare back up at you. Oh. Memory? No? Oh no, I was just pressing the wrong buttons. Never mind. Alright, what is this? This wagon seems to contain the monk's possessions, such as they are. Meager clothing, a little food, and some basic tools and utensils are contained within the cloth sacks. Buried beneath one of the sacks is a small mace, the blunt weapon often favored by those clerics who don't pay full regard to the prohibition on clergymen shedding blood. This weapon is small enough to conceal beneath your tunic. If you take the mace, you can still carry one more item. No, I'm gonna leave that for now. I don't suppose a mace would be the most subtle of weapons. Has been chopping some wood here and has left a small hand axe. No, I'm gonna leave that. I'm not gonna take anything yet. I'm gonna do the same as I did before and explore first. Someone has clearly been hard at work this morning, making sure there's enough firewood to keep the house warm. Okay, can I go this way? No, okay, this is just the courtyard. Let's enter. Good evening. Please do step inside the Great Hall. I am Nicholas the Steward. All of the other dinner guests have arrived already, so you must be the mysterious William Bruce. Other guests? Oh yes, perhaps you have already spoken to Brother Simon out in the courtyard. We are also honored to have the Reverend Mother Mary Burns in our channel, and Sir John de Ashton occupying the guest chamber. Excuse me. You will find them on the upper floor if you pass through the side chamber over there. The kitchen is on the other side of the hall. There is nothing through here except the servants' quarters though. If you feel hungry before dinner, speak to Alice. She will prepare something for you. If you're feeling cold, I will chop some more wood for the fire. For anything else, do not hesitate to ask. You are too kind, Nicholas. Thank you. Let's see, can I... Okay, I can go back. I was wondering if it was gonna give me only one chance to pick up certain weapons. But this should give me a little bit of room. Well, didn't you just walk the other way? I hope you're making yourself at home. Is there anything I can help you with? Oh man, that's a lot. They're giving a lot more options right now, so I'm really curious as to how many ways I can murder people. Tell me about Woolsey. How long have you known the governor? I've served him as a steward for years. He has been a faultless employer. I'll hear not a single bad word said about him. What can you tell me about the Reverend Mother? Not a great deal, I'm afraid. I know she can be rather stern with the governor's daughter in her lessons. I certainly wouldn't like to be a student, I'll say that much. Alice? Tell me about Alice, the servant girl. There's not much to tell. The governor took her in when she was fairly young. Just another poor beggar girl from the streets of York. He saw to her education and training and made her into the woman she is today. Why would he take in a beggar girl? Does he treat her well? How do you feel towards her? I see. Does he treat her well? Treating somebody well is a rather subjective thing, wouldn't you say? He that spares his rod hates his son, but he that loves him chastens him in good time. Ah, right, yeah. The same applies to the opposite sex, wouldn't you say? He beats her then? Not recently to my knowledge, but certainly when she was younger she gave him cause to use his rod now and then. It only shows how much he cares for her, I suppose. Now enough talk about the servant girl. Okay, Brother Simon. Only by reputation, mostly. He seems like a decent enough sort, a little rough around the edges for a holy man. Considering his past, that's hardly surprising. What about his past? Well, if you believe the rumors, he used to be a ruffian for hire before he turned to the church. Hard to believe, isn't it? Apparently he was very talented at breaking heads back in his day. They say he still carries a mace with him even now. Anyway, enough about him. Sir John de Ashton. Excuse me about that, that was gross. Oh, I know a great deal about most of the noble families. It is usually good for a steward to keep up with the latest gossip. I might be inclined to share a little. Family life, financial situation, dog secrets. Ooh, but if I start prying, that might make me suspicious. Well, let's ask about his family life. How's his family life? Sir John is happily married with a wife and children. Despite his reputation as a ladies' man, there are no scandals to speak of. Yet. If there were, I'm sure I would know about them. Anyway, that's enough gossip, I think. Okay, last but not least, the governor's daughter. Not much. You do better asking Alice or one of the girls' tutors. I've little time for children, to tell you the truth. Okay, then that will be the end. Let me know if you require anything else. Okay, good talk. Thank you for talking to me. You must be Alice. Hello, Alice. Oh, you startled me. Sorry, I wasn't paying more attention. Are you one of the dinner guests? Yes, William Bruce is my name. Your accent. You're from Scotland, aren't you? I just finished reading the chronicle of a knight who spent time in your country. Oh god, do I have to do a Scottish accent for this guy? Are there really still savages in the Highland Mountains? Do you people truly worship and fear strange evil spirits? I've never known a servant girl. Let's talk about her. We can get the truth of that later. I've never known a servant girl who could read before. Let's end that right now. I'm just gonna keep talking normally. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, I simply adore reading. The governor and his departed wife took me in when I was a child, and he saw to my education. There is so much that I owe to his kindness. Let's see. Your education was clearly unsuccessful. Well, let's not be a dick. Okay, let's not do that right away. We can be a dick later. He sounds like a good man. I'm sure he had more selfish motivation. Why did he bother to educate a servant? Okay, he sounds like a good man. Oh, he certainly is. I doubt there are many men like him in the whole of Britain. I wish there were, then perhaps I would find a good husband. Can I help you with anything else? Okay, tell me about Wolsey, tell me about the man. How long have you worked for the governor? He took me in when I was quite young after I had suffered some ill fortune. The governor and his wife were so good to me. I'm sure Eva would be dead by now if not for them. I do feel for him so much, especially since his wife passed last year. What kind of ill fortune did he suffer? His wife's death hit him hard then? Ooh, this is getting interesting. I could ask her about her life, but I could ask him. It almost sounds like you're in love with him. Are any of those feelings romantic in nature? Oh, forgive me, I didn't mean to give you that impression. Look, the pot is boiling over. I should give it another stir. Okay, I don't suppose we can talk any further? Oh, we can. Can you tell me anything about the Reverend Mother? Not really. I know that she enjoys a spot of mulberry gin. She once told me that she keeps her own garden where she grows mulberries, as well as other fruits and herbs. Perhaps I should have been a nun, if all they do is drink and tend to their gardens all day. Nicholas? Oh, he has been very kind. He taught me a great deal about how to keep a good household. He's such a good teacher. He knows when to be stern and when to be gentle. He's sometimes stern with you then? Well, only when I make silly mistakes, and he happens to be in a bad mood. I mean, not that he's in a bad mood often. I don't mean to say anything bad about him, truly. Please, let's talk about something else. Okay, Brother Simon. I wonder if you can tell me anything about him. I'm afraid I don't know much about him, sir. He visits with the Reverend Mother every now and then to tutor little Eliza. I always feel a little bit of tension in the house when he's here, but that's probably just me being silly. Close with the Reverend Mother then? What does Eliza think? Why do you feel tension? Well, he and the governor seem to respect one another very much, but they do disagree quite strongly on certain things. Usually it's quite civil, but I've heard them shouting at each other more than once. Raised voices always echo through this old house. I wish they didn't. I'm afraid that's all I can tell about Brother Simon anyway. Sir John the Ashton. I've known him for much of my life, but I've never spoken to him much. He's far too high of a noble to be concerned with the likes of me, I fear. Okay. Do you get along with the governor's daughter? Eliza? Oh yes, she's a lovely girl. We play some wonderful games together. She always wants to play at nights, but her father won't allow it, and I wouldn't know where to begin anyway. Does she ever lose her temper when you play? That's an interesting one. Have you ever known her to lose her temper? No, I have not. I've heard she lost her temper at other times, but never with me. I hope that's all you need to know about her? Okay. I will leave you to your cooking. Thank you very much, Alice. I will let you know when dinner is served. Alright. Oh my, that's a lot of reading this episode. But I don't mind. I like it. I like that a lot. The cellar below the kitchen is a dark, drafty room when compared with the rest of the estate. You wouldn't wish to spend much time down here yourself. But Few scattered candles. There are quite a number of wine barrels down here. The governor apparently has a taste for it. You decide that getting drunk is unlikely to help you at the moment. I can take a little sip for courage. Apparently one of the servants is in the middle of some household chores. Let's see, so I could potentially poison the barrels. I'm just thinking of ways to murder now. The shelves contain some religious texts as well as books of legends and courtly romances. It would seem the servants of this house are unusually well educated. Well, that's no good for me. That means they can put one and two together. One and one together. Sorry, wow. Soft lights. More barrels. Yeah, okay, what's in this? Various kinds of vegetables. Okay. A rope. Thick and sturdy enough to serve as an effective murder weapon. Now I'm gonna leave that, but at least now I know I got 2 weapons in the courtyard and 1 weapon down here. A large pair of boots and a men's tunic messily strewn across the floor indicate that this is the private chamber of Nicholas the Steward, the estate. Okay, what can I do about that? It's a lot messy, but I do not think it will provide me with a weapon. Let's see, maybe underneath his bed, maybe he keeps some sort of weapon. Comfortable enough, more so than what you're accustomed to anyway. Okay then. No, okay. I guess nothing. Nothing so far, but I bet I can plant things there. A small chamber would seem to belong to Alice, the servant girl, given the lady's mirror and other artifacts on the wall. A red ribbon the color of passion would seem to indicate that this is a love letter of some sort. As you unravel it to take a look, you see that your suspicions are correct. Do not come to my bedchamber tonight. There are too many who might overhear our pleasures. Come tomorrow after Nicholas has turned in for the night. I will be waiting. You recognize the governor's handwriting from your own correspondence with him. It would seem that he is indulging in an affair with the servant girl. This alone would probably not implicate her in anything, but perhaps the unread letter can serve a purpose. Okay, so that's a piece of evidence that's gonna come in handy. A small mirror and a bottle of cheap scented powder seem to be among the few possessions of the servant girl. Yeah, I'm not gonna climb into that bed, that seems like a bad idea. Okay, so I got a few weapons, and this is my first piece of evidence that I've come across. A love letter, which has proven quite useful in the previous game, so that's a good thing. But there's still plenty more to... Oh, no, get back. There's still plenty more to explore. I'm afraid I do not know how I'm gonna remember everything. Like, there's gotta be so many ways to do this, and there's like 2 other characters to explore, so that's pretty interesting. The finest chair is most usually reserved for the man of the house or a particularly honored guest. Okay, then, I'm curious. Sharp and potentially deadly fire irons. No, I'm gonna leave that. I'm not gonna stab him just yet. There's work to be done. Alright, let's move on this way then. Wait, can I talk to you? Given all of the armaments he likes to display, you would guess that the governor had probably proven himself as a warrior on the battlefield. Okay then, so those are not actual guards. The spacious corridor of the upper floor seems to also serve as a long galley, displaying various works of art as well as family heraldry and other artifacts. Wow. Proudly displayed upon this cabinet is the governor's family sword, and a fine blade it is, carefully inscribed with his heraldry. The great sword is too large to conceal on your person, however, you might get a chance to collect it later. If you choose the sword, you still have time to search the house for one more useful item. No, I'm not gonna do that just yet. This is just exploring. You assume that this must be the guest chamber which Sir John is currently staying. From the looks of it, he didn't bring many personal possessions with him on his journey. Oh my, I'm beginning to slip. Creaking open the wardrobe, you find within a few items of clothing and other personal effects that Sir John has brought with him. Nothing useful among them, though. Okay, there's a small blade here. A small dagger. Belongs to the guest who is staying in this chamber. Such blades are useful for personal protection during long journeys. That sounds good, but I kind of want to do something with the love letter. I mean, the love letter is the only piece of evidence that I've found so far. So I kind of feel like I should do something with that. I think. I mean, you can't just murder him, but still. The stark opulence of the chapel is an environment with which you would feel very familiar, given your life at the Priory. Even so, the sight of the polished wood cross on its stone pedestal sends a peculiar chill through your bones. Oh, I bet this is Our Lady's. And who might you be, with the nerve to interrupt a woman in her prayers? William Bruce, and you are? Why, I am Mary Burns, of course, the Mother Superior of Monkton Convent. From your Scottish brogue, I would guess you come from north of the border. I have many friends in the Church of Scotland. Tell me, to which parish did you belong? I travelled here from Beaulieu Priory. I'm not very active in church life. I'd like to ask something about your convent. I'm from Beaulieu. I journeyed here from Beaulieu Priory in the Highlands. Do you know it? Ah, yes, the Cistercian monks of Inverness. One prior, Thomas, presides over their order, if I'm not mistaken. I know the name quite well, actually. Are you a friend of Prior Thomas? He's like a father to me. I count him as a friend. He's only a passing acquaintance. I don't get along with him. Okay, he's like a father to me. He is the dearest friend I ever had. Prior Thomas is like a father to me and a good man. A good man. From what I hear, he is lax in his duties and has sympathies with the heretics. If I were you, I would choose my associates more carefully. What do you want from me? Okay. Whew, take a breath. I can do this. I can do all this reading. Don't worry, I want to explore this game thoroughly before actually starting to murder stuff, because it's a very significant part of the game. I do not want to skip over this, you know, just because it's more practical. So I'm not going to do that. Governor will see. Oh yes, I like to regard myself as his spiritual advisor and confessor. He shares with me everything from his hopes and dreams to his worst nightmares. I act as a conduit between him and Almighty God. Sounds like you care a great deal for him. Dreams and hopes, nightmares you say. It sounds like you care a great deal for him. I hope you are not insinuating anything. As I said, my role is to be his guide and confessor. I may be a woman, but I am married to Christ. That is all I'm inclined to share. Sir John the Ashton. Very little. I barely know the man, and I don't much care to. What about Alice? Too well, I fear. Why the governor decided to take in that little daggle-tailed street wench, I have no idea. Daggle-tailed street wench. Note that. She seems like a good girl. Why do you call her that? Why do you call her that? Oh, I know everything about what she used to get up to before the governor took her off the streets. My sisters and I used to perform charity for the poor wretches of York, and Alice was a name we knew very well indeed. For a time she worked in a whorehouse when she wasn't busy picking pockets, and that's just the start of it. I told him all about it when he took her in, but he wouldn't listen to reason. It's a wonder she hasn't made off with the silver already. I don't wish to discuss her any further. Okay then, so that could be something. Brother Simon is your travelling companion, isn't he? That's right, a good man, if a little soft. If you ask me, men cannot afford to be meek and gentle in times such as these. What about Nicholas? Do you know Nicholas? Know him personally? Of course not. I do not come here to associate myself with the servants. What about the daughter? That's right, a difficult child, no doubt about it. A young lady should not take such interests as she does, wrestling and swordplay and so on. It is quite improper. See, is she difficult in her lessons? Why do you disapprove of those interests? Does she get along with her father? Why do you disapprove? Because they speak of a violent nature, of course, and there's no cause at all for a young lady to be violent. Not to mention that it's rather unladylike. That's enough about the girl. Okay, that's enough for our conversation. I will leave you to your prayer then. Very good. The symbolism of the cross has never been lost in you. You understand suffering all too well. How am I? Okay. So this is quite complicated. She dislikes the daughter, so I could possibly do something with that. I kind of want to do something with the love letter, though. The silver chalice, probably used for communion wine, looks like it could fetch a fair amount of coin. If I were a common thief, you would certainly avail yourself of it. If you take this chalice... No, I'm not gonna murder him with a chalice. Thank you very much. Not yet, at least. Contained with its modest travelling bag, she certainly travels much lighter than Brother Simon does. Not the time for prayer. They have already been answered. Okay, then. So that was Our Lady. We're slowly making our way through the house. Let's see, is there anything over here? This decorated room, known as the cabinet, likely serves as a study and private meeting room for the men of the house. The chambers of the governor and his daughter lie beyond. But who are you? Hello, sir. Oh, hello, handsome. Well, hello there. By my reckoning, you must be William Bruce. I am Sir John of the Great Northern House of Ashton. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. Bruce. Now, there's a name with some history behind it. You must have some rather illustrious ancestors yourself. Yes, I do. We have a history of spilling English blood. I'm not a noble. It's a common name. Yes, I have many noble ancestors. My mother told me to take pride in that. My grandfather was the first Baron of Clackmannan. On my mother's side, my heritage leads back to Charles the Great. Charlemagne himself, huh? Now that's certainly something to brag about. I take it you did not inherit any lands or titles yourself, though. Such a shame. An ambitious man can always earn such things. Lands and titles aren't everything. Don't mock me, you feathered braggart. Yes, that was my misfortune. No, I'm going to talk about ambition. Lands and titles can be earned as well as inherited. If a man has sufficient ambition, that is. I knew I liked you, William. You're a man after my own heart. This may even be the beginning of a friendship, I feel. Oh, such a good friendship. Don't friendzone me, though. Let's talk. Let's talk about Wolsey. You and the governor are old friends, then? Oh, yes, the oldest and dearest of friends. We've been together through thick and thin. I've witnessed his rise from a soldier to a lord, and I must say he deserves every bit of status he has earned. Even if he's not in the firebrand he once was, there's nobody I would rather have at my side in a fight. Do you know much about his origins? He's become more mellow recently, then. I don't know if I should tell him about my history with the man. You're saying he has calmed down in recent times, then? I would say so, since the death of his wife last year at least. There are even times I wonder if he has begun to feel guilty about his past actions. He certainly lost something of his old spark. Or perhaps I've just become more incendiary myself. We do seem to argue more than we used to in any case. Anyway, that's all you need to know about the governor for now. What about Mother Burns? She's one of Eliza's tutors. I haven't spoken to her much, but she seems to be very close to the governor. She seems like a sour-faced old crone, but I do wonder about her sometimes. What do you wonder about her? Well, she and the governor spend so much time alone together. She's his confessor, you see. It's a little unconventional, and there are times when I wonder if that light-lipped smirk of hers doesn't conceal a certain womanly passion. Oh, don't mind me, I'm just daydreaming again. Really, huh? Alice, the servant girl. She seems like a nice girl, doesn't she? Despite the fact that she used to be a street urchin. It's true what they say about the redheads, though. They can have quite the temper. Urchins can have loose morale sometimes. Why do you think the governor took her in? Well, there could be many reasons. She's not exactly bad to look at, is she? Or perhaps she did so purely out of the goodness of his heart. Yeah, let's give old Robert the benefit of the doubt, shall we? I'm afraid I can't tell you much else about her. Father Simon. Unfortunately, yes. The governor insists on inviting him here to tutor his daughter. I suppose he sees something in him that I do not. I wouldn't let the man in my house, let alone anywhere near my children. You think he's dangerous? Dangerous is a good word. At the very least, I believe he harbors dangerous ideas. It's no secret that he's soft on heresy. Perhaps he's even a heretic himself, secretly. Let's talk about something else. I can feel myself getting annoyed. Well, what about Nicholas? Ah, good old Nicholas. He struck you as being peculiar as well, huh? He's quite harmless, I assure you. A confirmed bachelor these days, and it's probably better that he stays that way. Why is it better that he remains a bachelor? Well, he was engaged to be wed a few years ago. A nice local girl, good family. The problem was that he was so violently jealous of her. Not a week went by that he didn't accuse some poor lad of sleeping with his beloved. Of course, in her case, it turned out that he was right. She'd been sleeping with half the county. Needless to say, the wedding did not go ahead as planned. I would say it was for the best. Whether he was right or not, someone as jealous and suspicious as Nicholas would not make a good husband. I would pity the poor girl he married. So, Nicholas is jealous, you say. The governor's daughter. She's an amusing little thing. She told me she wants to be a knight when she grows up. Poor girl. Yeah, poor girl indeed. Fare thee well, William. Alright, bye, handsome. I will see you later. So what is that? This letter has apparently been left here for the steward to give to the messenger. You make sure that Sir John is not watching before carefully untying the ribbon to read it. It has come to my attention that you still own significant debts to my household. It would be unfortunate if I were first to take further measures to retrieve those monies. The threatening letter is not signed for obvious reasons, perhaps, but does appear to be in the governor's handwriting. The intended recipient is also not mentioned by name. So that could be useful. But I'm gonna leave it for now. Gotta stick to my regular plan. The young dark-haired girl who sits at the nearby dressing table seems to be lost in her daydreams. You assume this must be the governor's daughter, Eliza. Hold on, I forgot to check out one thing. Come on, check out this. Behind the glass you see various heirlooms and gifts that the governor has collected over the years. You don't see anything that would be useful. Okay then. Just want to make sure, just want to be thorough. Hello there, girl. Oh, someone new. What's your name? William Bruce. You must be Eliza, the governor's daughter. Yes, that's right. Funny accents. Are you one of my father's friends? Actually, I'm a Scottish prince, you know. It's not polite to say that about my accent. Yes, we've been writing letters. He invited me here for dinner. His dinner parties are so boring. I'd much rather spend the day playing in the garden. How about you? What do you like to do for fun? I like to read books and attend mass. Swordplay, there are some things I can't tell you, a child. I should talk about swordplay. She lost that. Oh, me too. My father and my tutors don't approve. They won't even let me have a wooden sword, so I have to use sticks most of the time. I only wish I could be a knight one day. Rules are so silly. You want to talk about something else? Let's talk about Woolsey. Do you get along with your father? Oh yes, just last week he took me to see the Root-Stain monolith. They say it was built by giants, but if you believe in them, I've never seen any. Although Brother Simon is quite tall. Okay, what about Mother Burns? Is the Reverend Mother one of your tutors? Mother Burns? Yes, she is, and she takes confessions from my father too. She's very clever, isn't she? She can tell me about all the flowers in the forest, what each one is called and what they can be used for. I only wish she could be a little more gentle at times, like Brother Simon. She's stern towards you then. Well, sometimes she strikes me with a birch rod. Father says it helps me to learn, but sometimes she does it when I haven't even done anything wrong. She just has a bad temper. Please don't tell anyone I said that, though. So, Nicholas? He's alright, a little bit of a bore. He doesn't play games with me like Alice. I wish someone would teach him to be less of a bore and would have better manners. Why do you think he needs to learn manners? Well, Mother Burns told me that it's terribly bad manners for a man to strike a lady. He struck you. No, but I saw him strike Alice once. I'm not sure she even did anything wrong. Let's not talk about him anymore. He's boring. Okay, so maybe there is something going on between either Alice and the guy I need to kill, or Alice and the steward. Brother Simon. Do you know Brother Simon well? Of course I do. He tutors me sometimes. He can be funny when he's not being boring. Sir John Ashton. What can you tell me about Sir John? Sir John is my godfather and my father's best friend. Sometimes he brings me gifts when he visits. I like him. Well, what sort of gifts? Books or toys mostly. Sometimes he brings me sweet cakes. I like him a lot. Okay, what about Alice? How do you like Alice, the servant girl? Alice is my best friend. We often play games together. She's marvelous, isn't she? I'm sorry, my throat is beginning to give out. I need to be going. Alright then. So yeah, this episode is mostly going to be introduction, I guess, to this game. I didn't think it would be so big, so elaborate. I love it, by the way, but it's so gigantic compared to the previous game. Okay, dress is not that interesting. Small, but very comfortable. Nothing of interest. What about this? Peering inside the ornate chest, you find nothing but a small collection of children's toys, including a wooden horse. These are of no use to you. But you could impale him with the wooden horse. You make sure that the dog-haired girl is suitably distracted before peeking inside the ornate bronze container which sits atop the small chest of drawers. Inside, among various keepsakes, there is a single lock of red hair. You would guess that it's probably belonged to the girl's mother, though there is nothing to identify it as such. Wasn't Alice red? I'm gonna leave the lock of hair. I'm gonna leave that. See, had I explored stuff on her desk? Upon it is nothing but a smaller hand mirror and a bottle of scented powder. Okay then. I suppose not. One more room to explore? And then another floor to explore? Your blood turns to ice when you see him standing so close. This villain you have been hunting for so long. It doesn't look like the years have changed him much. Well, hello there. Ah, William Bruce, I assume. You look just as I pictured you. Greetings, Governor Woolsey. I'm so glad you could join us for dinner tonight. There are so many things to discuss. Regardless of any history between our two countries, we're all Christians and must face the threat of heresy together. More than anything else, though, I want you to see this as an opportunity to meet my friends and family. Perhaps soon you will come to count yourself among them. Do you have a family of your own, William? You never mentioned them in your letters. I used to have a family. The church is my family. Speaking of family, I haven't met your wife yet. The church is my family. Well, it doesn't tell me if it's true or not, but I believe it's true. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. It's a bit risky, but I'm gonna go ahead. I used to have a family until there was some misfortune. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What happened, if you don't mind talking about it? My family was destroyed by a scoundrel. My family were murdered. I was disowned by my family. Actually, I do mind talking about it. Okay, my family were murdered or my family was destroyed. I come from a good noble family whose honor and fortunes were destroyed by the actions of one wretched man. I see. And does this man yet live? Yes, he does. Well, if a man had done such a thing to my family, I would soon put him in the ground. God, I'm afraid I made him suspicious now. When it comes to matters of family and honor, there's no better remedy for injustice than the sharp point of a sword. Thank you for your advice, Governor. I will certainly keep it in mind. Anyway, I should return to my work. I look forward to continuing our conversation for dinner. How does he not suspect anything? I think he does. I think he suspects me. I think I screwed myself over. The governor seems to be quite an accomplished scribe, judging from his large collection of scrolls and records. Does not seem to be paying much attention. Risk of opening this chest. A rather gruesome discovery waits inside. Various implements of torture are contained within this box of horrors. Among them you recognize a device known as a heretic's fork and another called cat's paw. While apparently quite effective for inflicting long-term abuse, neither of these devices would make a good murder weapon. That's true, that cat claw thing he was talking about is meant for tearing off the skin and dissecting smaller muscles, so that the person who is subjected to it will die very, very slowly. Usually after doing this, they are tied to... God, I don't know the term in English, but they're tied to like a big wheel and put out in the sun for birds to eat them. Or for them to bleed to death, whichever happens first. You're just about to close the chest when you spot a leather satchel small enough to conceal on your person. It contains small blunt truncheons and pins meant to inflict pain without leaving much physical evidence, as well as some restraints. This could raise some interesting questions. What about the satchel? I don't know. I'm not sure. The governor sleeps upon a soft feather bed beneath the fine linen sheets. It's quite a contrast to the plain hot mattress and blankets you slept upon at the priory. Collection of volumes by Thomas Aquinas. You take the book from the top of the pile and leaf through it. Yet if heretics be altogether uprooted by death, this is not contrary to our Lord's command, which is to be understood as referring to the case when the cockle cannot be plucked upon without plucking up the wheat. Alright then, I'm not sure what cockle means. Upon opening the wooden chest you find something rather unexpected. A leather-bound volume containing unauthorized translations from the Holy Bible sits atop a pile of artifacts. You suppose that this outlawed text is being kept for study or perhaps awaiting destruction at the hands of the governor. You wonder if it could be useful to you. Okay, so a book. collection of works by Ambrose and other scholars of the Church. Several passages have been outlined. Now consider this point. If life is a burden, then death is freedom from it. If life is a punishment, then death is a deliverance. You suppose it's good that he feels so philosophical about these things? I guess. Oh wait, I already looked. Never mind. Never mind. No, come on, stop it. Get out. Get out of the... Okay. Now let's leave. And let's make our way to the next floor. Hopefully there will not be too many rooms there, because otherwise it's gonna get insanely complicated. Ah, this steep staircase seems to have brought you to the gusty parapets of a tower at the top of the estate. The view from up here is quite breathtaking. Alright then. So I'm kind of conflicted about this, but I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna do this series like this, because this is obviously gonna be quite a lot longer than I expected it to be. I think I'm just gonna take the characters, do an introduction video of all of them by exploring the area where they're being put, where they're being set, and then continue with the actual murder plan. I think I'm gonna do it like that, because otherwise the episodes would be extremely long. I'm already at almost 50 minutes right now, holy crap. Yes, I think I'm gonna be doing that. Sorry about that, sorry if you expected me to already murder someone in this episode, but I'm gonna leave that and save that for the next. Now at least we know all the information, so if you have any suggestions for stuff I can put together, then leave them down in the description. Please try to keep it spoiler free, because I do want to discover this on my own as much as possible. So anyway, yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna leave a link down in the description if you want to play this game for yourself. It's available on Steam. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!